The catalog arrived by rural free delivery on a Tuesday in February in a farmhouse 12 miles from the nearest general store. It weighed 2 pounds. It contained 532 pages. The woman who opened it understood immediately that she was looking at a menu. Richard Sears began selling watches from a railway depot in Minnesota in 1886. By 1897, the catalog ran to 786 pages and included food, cookware, and equipment that could reach a farm in Iowa in 8 days. The Rural Free Delivery Act of 1896 made this possible. Mail carriers now came to the farm rather than requiring the farmer to come to town. For rural families a day's ride from any commercial grocery, the Sears catalog was not a shopping convenience. It functioned as the entire supply chain. You could order the ingredients, the cook stove to cook them on, and the pans to cook them in, and all of it would arrive by wagon before the spring thaw. Writer Harry Crews, who grew up in a South Georgia farming family in the 1940s, described the catalog arriving as everything but the experience of the thing itself. He was not wrong. These are 15 forgotten Sears catalog meals from Mail Order America. Hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell. Number 15. Royal Baking Powder Biscuits. The rise that came in a tin. The Royal Baking Powder Company ran a full-page advertisement in Sears catalogs through the 1890s and early 1900s, and the product appeared on the Sears grocery pages at approximately 25 cents a pound in 1900. Royal Baking Powder simplified the equation: flour, fat, milk, powder, oven. The biscuit was pale gold on the exterior, soft and slightly warm inside, slightly alkaline from the powder. The catalog offered the powder. The farm supplied everything else: the flour from the mill, the lard from the hog, the milk from the cow. The catalog ingredient met the farm ingredient and produced biscuits. It's that the family ate with molasses or honey or salt pork gravy at a table in a farmhouse kitchen 12 miles from the nearest baker. The catalog made the baker unnecessary. That exchange, the catalog ingredient meeting the farm's existing ingredients, was the commercial transaction Richard Sears had designed from the beginning. Number 14. Canned salmon croquettes. The fish from a can in a landlocked kitchen. Canned Pacific salmon appeared in Sears grocery pages at approximately 12 cents a can in 1905. Red sockeye or pink chinook, packed in Oregon or Washington, sealed in a flat oval tin that would survive the supply wagon and arrive at the farm without refrigeration. A farm wife in Nebraska who had never seen the Pacific Ocean opened the can, combined the salmon with mashed potato and cracker crumbs, formed the mixture into small cylinders, and fried them in lard until the exterior was golden and slightly crisp. The interior was soft and savory, the salmon flavor mild and slightly briny, the potato binding everything into a cohesive cake that held its shape through the cooking. Salmon croquettes appeared on American farm tables from roughly 1900 to 1940 as a category of company dish, something more interesting than salt pork and dried beans, produced from ingredients that needed no local butcher or fishmonger. The can arrived from 2,000 miles away. A farm wife made it dinner, which is exactly what the Sears catalog had promised she could do. Number 13. Vanilla Layer Cake. What the extract made possible. Sears sold McCormick vanilla extract and competing products at approximately 12 cents for a 4-ounce bottle in 1900, and the catalog included baking supplies, cream of tartar, baking soda, lemon extract, that made the full range of American layer cake production available to any farm with a wood-fired oven. The vanilla layer cake needed nothing that could not be obtained by catalog. Flour at 3 cents a pound, granulated sugar at 5 cents, the extract, eggs from the farmyard chickens, butter from the house cow. The cake that came out of the farm oven was white and fine-grained, slightly sweet, the vanilla extract warming the flavor, frosted with a sugar and butter glaze or a boiled white icing. It was the birthday cake, the Sunday cake, the company cake. It appeared on tables in townships without bakeries because the catalog brought the extract to the township and the extract carried the flavor that made the cake what it was. Vanilla served as the password. The catalog delivered the extract, and the extract delivered the sundae cake. Number 12. Canned evaporated corn chowder, soup from a factory in Ohio. The Sears grocery catalog pages of the 1900s and 1910s carried canned soup at prices that made them competitive with home production. Montclair brand canned soups at approximately 52 cents for a 5-pound case in 1915, each can containing concentrated corn chowder that needed only water or milk added to become a hot meal. For a farm wife managing a household of 6 in February in Minnesota, a can of corn chowder on a day when the root cellar was low and the hog had been eaten represented approximately 25 minutes less labor than a scratch-cooked soup. The chowder itself was sweet and slightly starchy, the corn tender, the liquid thickened from the cornstarch in the concentrate. It was not the same as corn chowder made from last summer's dried corn and Sunday's chicken stock. It was faster. In February, faster had its own value. The catalog understood what February in Minnesota meant for a farm family whose root cellar was running low, and the evaporated corn chowder at 52 cents for a 5-pound case was part of the catalog's answer to that understanding. Number 11. Dried bean soup, the staple that shipped without spoiling. Dried beans arrived at the farm via Sears catalog at approximately 39 cents for a 5-pound bag in 1915. Navy beans, Great Northern, kidney, shelf-stable, lightweight relative to their caloric output, and capable of producing from a single pound of raw beans enough soup to feed a family of 5 at a cost of approximately 4 cents per person. The farm wife soaked the beans overnight, simmered them with salt pork or a ham hock from the smokehouse, and had by evening a pot of bean soup that was thick and savory and slightly smoky, the beans soft and collapsed into the broth. A family that ordered dried beans by catalog and owned the smokehouse pork and the Sears cookstove could eat a hot dinner every night of winter on a cash outlay of 39 cents every 2 weeks. That arithmetic became the catalog's most persuasive argument. The catalog made the math possible. Number 10. Baked macaroni and cheese, the pan they had to dig out of. Elbow macaroni cooked just past al dente, drained, mixed into a roux-based cheese sauce, butter melted into flour, milk whisked in slowly, sharp yellow cheddar grated by hand, and stirred until it pulled into ropes off the spoon, poured into a deep half pan, topped more grated cheddar and a thin scatter of buttered breadcrumbs. Baked under the broiler until the top blistered into a brown crust and the corners darkened almost to black. This is not the macaroni and cheese that comes from a box. The cafeteria version was a casserole. The server reached into the pan with a metal spoon and pulled up a square of macaroni that included a section of the crust and dropped it onto your plate with a soft thud that was its own small ceremony. The cheese had to be aged sharp yellow cheddar. The milk whole. The crust had to come up. If you grew up eating it this way, the version tastes like an apology for the real one. The cafeteria version is no longer served in most American restaurants. If you can still the heat of that pan on your fork, hit the subscribe button. There's more of this kind of vanished America coming every week. Number 9. Liver and onions, the dish that walked off the menu while you weren't looking. Calf or beef liver, sliced thin against the grain, dredged lightly in seasoned flour, pan-fried in bacon fat until just barely cooked through and still pink in the center. Served under a heap of onions that had been slowly cooked in the same until they were dark caramel, soft to the bite, glossy. Sometimes a strip of bacon on top, mashed potatoes on the side, and a roll. In 1960, liver was on every menu Thursday like clockwork because it had to be eaten fresh within a day or two of being delivered from the meat counter. It was iron-rich, cheap, and medically necessary for children, pregnant women, and the elderly. Doctors prescribed it. Schools served it. Then two things happened at once in the late 1970s. The American taste for organ meat collapsed as Americans switched to leaner, blander, more standardized cuts of muscle meat. And the iron supplement pill replaced liver as the medical recommendation. Today, you cannot order liver and onions at any American casual chain. It survives only at a few diners, and at the cafeterias that are themselves vanishing. A whole category of American eating walked off the menu inside one generation, and almost nobody noticing. Number 8. Squash casserole, the yellow dish on the warm side. Yellow summer squash sliced into half moons and boiled briefly until tender. Drained and pressed against the colander with the back of a wooden spoon to get the water out. Mixed with sautéed onion, beaten egg, sharp cheddar grated by hand, a half cup of mayonnaise and salt and pepper. Spread into a buttered casserole dish, topped with crushed Ritz crackers tossed in melted butter. Baked until the top was bronzed and the inside was creamy and yellow and steaming. Number 7. Canned lobster cream soup. The coast in a can in a landlocked state. Canned lobster products arrived in Sears grocery pages at 18 to 22 cents a can in 1905. Lobster packed in Maine and Massachusetts, transported by rail to Chicago, distributed to catalog warehouses, and available for order by a farm family in Nebraska who had never seen the Atlantic coast. The lobster cream soup was made by combining the contents of the can with whole milk or cream and butter in a saucepan, heating gently until the mixture was warm and slightly thickened, seasoned with salt and white pepper, served in a bowl. Rich and slightly briny and faintly sweet, the lobster tender in small pieces throughout the pale cream broth. It was the kind of dish that appeared on hotel menus and at formal dinners in cities with access to coastal supply chains. The catalog put it on a farm table in Iowa. The catalog was not wrong about the canned lobster. The farm table was 1,500 miles from the nearest lobster boat. The catalog was not wrong. Number 6. Lemon extract pie, the dessert from an 8-cent bottle. Lemon extract appeared in Sears grocery and baking supply pages at approximately 8 to 10 cents per bottle in 1900, a concentrated flavor product made from lemon oil and alcohol, not the juice of actual lemons, designed to survive long shipping and extended storage. The lemon extract pie was a single-crust custard pie. Eggs, sugar, evaporated milk or fresh milk, a tablespoon of lemon extract poured into a lard pastry shell and baked until the custard was set and slightly golden at the surface and trembling at the center. The flavor was intensely lemon, brighter and more insistent than fresh juice, lacking the complexity of fresh zest, but present and identifiable on the tongue as lemon in the way that the farm in December required things to be present. Real lemons arrived at Midwestern farms rarely, at expense, and in small quantities. The extract arrived by catalog at 8 cents and lasted the winter. The catalog had thought of something. The pie proved the catalog right. Number 5. Stewed dried prunes, the winter fruit that came in a bag. Dried prunes appeared in Sears grocery catalogs at approximately 7 cents a pound in 1900. California plums, dried at the packing house, shipped in paper bags, shelf-stable through the winter. They arrived black and shriveled and hard, with no resemblance to the fresh plum they had been. Simmered in water for 30 minutes, they transformed, the skin softening and loosening, the interior becoming soft and jammy, the liquid darkening into a light syrup. Stewed prunes appeared at the farm breakfast table from roughly 1880 to 1950, warm in a bowl, sometimes with cream. They were the fruit when there was no fruit, hot, dark, sweet, and present in the middle of February. The catalog page had not suggested they could be this. The bowl made the argument the catalog page could not. The argument was correct. The bowl was right. Number 4. The Sears Acme Cook Stove, the appliance that made everything else possible. The Sears Acme Cook Stove appeared in the 1897 catalog at $12.50 for the base model. A cast-iron wood-burning range with 4 burners, an oven, and a warming drawer weighing approximately 200 pounds, shipped by rail to the nearest freight depot and hauled by wagon to the farm. It replaced the open hearth as the cooking technology of the American farmhouse. The cast-iron cook stove at $12.50 in 1897 represented approximately 10 days of wages for a farm laborer. The cast-iron oven, once fired, held heat evenly and warm and dry, which meant a vanilla layer cake could rise properly and a pot of bean soup could maintain a steady simmer for 3 hours. Nothing on this list was possible without it. The oven was the list. Number 3, the mail-order coffee cake. What arrived with the coffee order? Sears grocery pages listed coffee at approximately 20 to 25 cents a pound in 1900, ground or whole bean, several origins and roasts. And the catalog also sold the dried currants and citron and lemon peel and cinnamon that went into the coffee cake the farm wife baked on Sunday mornings. The coffee cake was a yeasted sweetbread. Flour, sugar, eggs, butter, spices, dried fruit folded into the dough, risen twice, baked until the crust was golden brown and the interior was soft and sweet and slightly dense. It was the Sunday morning smell of a farmhouse that had ordered from the catalog. The coffee, brewed strong and poured into heavy stoneware cups, and the coffee cake, sliced warm on a cutting board, were the breakfast that the catalog made available to farms that were otherwise dependent on the local general store's limited inventory. The catalog brought the cinnamon. The farm provided the Sunday morning, and the catalog provided the cinnamon and the dried fruit and the ground coffee that made the Sunday morning coffee cake worth getting up before sunrise to bake. Number 2, the Sears grocery catalog page, what it meant to see it. The Sears grocery section expanded from a few pages in the late 1890s to a substantial catalog within the catalog by 1910. The 1905 edition listed over 200 grocery items at prices the rural family could verify. Dried navy beans at 39 cents for 5 pounds, canned salmon at 12 cents a can, vanilla extract at 12 cents a bottle. The page had a particular smell, fresh ink, slightly waxy, slightly warm from the hours the catalog had spent near the stove. The grocery catalog page was not only a shopping document, it was a record of what existed in the American food supply in 1905. Before the catalog, a farm family knew what was available at the general store 12 miles away. After the catalog, a farm family knew what was available in Chicago. This changed what they cooked and what they understood a meal to be. The catalog page functioned as the first menu from a kitchen the family had never seen. A 2-cent stamp closed the distance between a Nebraska farmhouse and a Chicago warehouse. The farm cooked from Chicago. Number 1, the catalog arriving, the object itself. The Sears catalog that arrived by rural free delivery at an Iowa farmhouse in February 1903 weighed approximately 2.2 pounds and priced everything from 8 cents for a bottle of lemon extract to $12.50 for the Acme cook stove. It arrived slightly warm from the freight car. The paper was smooth and slightly waxy. The ink smelled of Chicago. The catalog sat on the kitchen table through winter. It was read beside the cook stove that had arrived by the same route the previous fall. When the new catalog arrived in the spring, the old one went to the outhouse. Nothing in the catalog was wasted. The biscuits, the salmon croquettes, the vanilla cake, the stove. All of it made possible by 2.2 pounds of warm, slightly waxy paper arriving at the end of a postal route that did not exist before 1896. The catalog arrived, and the farm could cook. Drop a comment if your family ordered from the Sears catalog. Because the meals those orders made possible are part of the story of how America ate before the grocery store arrived at the end of every street,